It's about that time of year again. Fall's right around the corner, and so is the Super Supper. What's it all about? You'll find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the 9th annual Super Supper to benefit the American Cancer Society. And we're visiting with Executive Chef Kim Lloyd, the president of the local chapter of the American Culinary Federation. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Greg.
Thank you so much for coming in.
I'm so happy to be here this morning.
You know, it was 11 months ago. We were on the top floor of the Radisson Plaza Hotel, Myrtle Beach Convention Center,
yes,
focused on the upcoming March of Dimes Chef's Auction.
Yes, we were.
That was the last time we were together, and I saw that earlier this morning as I was preparing and thinking, being on the top floor of anything, and now we're in our studio, and it's just exciting to get you back in.
Well, it's a nice space here you have.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, this Super Supper's getting close.
It is. It is. It's going to be next Sunday. We're really looking forward to that, October 10th.
Yeah, and y'all decided to have it on a Sunday.
We did, from 12 to 4 at the Tanger Outlets on 501.
Right.
So we want to make sure everybody rolls out for that.
There's so much going on that Tanger's doing to wrap around American Cancer Society that weekend.
They are.
This weekend,
They
yeah.
are. They have some little scratch cards that you can purchase, and you take that into the merchants, and it's a 10 or 20% discount card.
Right.
And I believe on Saturday they're actually donating 1% of their proceeds to Cancer Research Fund. So
1% of the total sales at the outlet center, I believe there, and the 17th store.
Nationwide,
Exactly.
possibly,
It's a gigantic commitment they did. I think I saw last year $600,000 went to the American Cancer Society on that single day.
That's just unbelievable.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Kim, how do you do all these things? The March of Dimes, the American Cancer Society, how do you wrap around all these events, particularly living in Little River and working down in Pawleys Island?
I utilize that commute. You know, I spend an hour a day in the car each way, and I do all my phone calls there.
Right.
I feel like a salesperson now with my little notebook open on the passenger seat, checking off all the calls that I've made.
Yeah.
I've sort of found just ways to do that.
Do you have one of those phones installed in your car with the speaker system and everything?
No, but I need one.
Yeah, you better talk to Jeff about that. That's or somebody. Yeah, those are so helpful. You know, it's amazing to see the benefit that they provide. Kim, real quick about yourself, for viewers who may not have caught you 11 months ago when we were together, are you originally from the area?
No, I'm mostly from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Golly, Little Rock, Arkansas is a little ways from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
It is, and I came here by way of New York, Long Island, actually. But I left Little Rock, about 10 years ago now, to move to Florida and go to culinary school.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, I just sort of, spread my wings a little bit and do something different with my life, so.
I think I saw for a little while after you left Little Rock to attend the University of Arkansas and came back to Little Rock for a little while and actually managed a restaurant after working, I think I saw as a waitress, a cocktail waitress, and doing some chef work as well as managing a small restaurant there.
I pretty much worked in what they call in the restaurant business the front of the house in the early part of my career. I literally stumbled into the restaurant business. It's kind of interesting. I was working as a cosmetics girl and broke my leg. A friend of mine worked at a restaurant where they needed a cashier, and I could sit down and do that job. So I said, hey, for the next 6 weeks, that sounds like me. When I was done and back on my feet, I started waiting tables there. And then I managed a little espresso bar in Little Rock, right as the whole Starbucks craze was hitting in the 90s. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We were very cool. Everyone wore black, and we all drank lattes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You'd be wired all day. What's that like? That must be tough working in a coffee shop or in an espresso shop.
Controlling the young guys who were working for you. You know, how many shots of espresso they could drink. And and then early in the morning, people want to come get their coffee. They're very serious about it.
Yeah.
But maybe that's where I first got my appreciation for recipes and for cooking and creating things in that way.
Yeah, that must be. It must be amazing being in a facility, of course, working on the front end and knowing what happens on the back end to make sure the front end comes off well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that really makes a difference. Not all chefs and not all people who work in kitchens have ever done any waiting tables or any work in the front of the house. And I really have an association between the food that I cook and the guest that is sitting at their table, waiting impatiently most of the time. Every second counts, so you can get that food out to them, and how they're going to look at every element on that plate and taste it, and it matters to them, and it's going to affect their evening, especially at a place like Pawleys Plantation, where we do lots of weddings and special events like that. And being able to be involved with people at their 50th anniversary party or the beginning of their, married life together is really wonderful.
Kim, you said something that virtually blows my mind when you think of that aspect. Wouldn't it be a prerequisite of restaurant owners to make sure that folks in the back had done some work in the front?
No, not really. Very often, chefs have never waited tables. Very often. Now, in the different culinary programs around the United States, they'll focus on that a little bit. My school did. We would set up one of the classrooms as a dining room, and we all went out and did a little bit of waiting there. So, but no, it's really not. Lots of times people choose front or back, right at the onslaught of their careers.
Even early on. Yeah. That's very interesting. We think about the American Culinary Federation, of course, the impact that they can have on a community. Do they ever do things, even though that sounds like it's primarily back of the house, do they ever do things to interface with the front of the house, or do they do training sessions, or how does the American Culinary Federation work in each community? Is it strictly chef training?
It's chef training, and we try to encompass students, and get them involved in the different organizations. And it's an opportunity for all the chefs to come together and have a little fellowship, to share their knowledge, and then to reach out to the community through different fundraising efforts like the Super Supper.
Right. Do you all interface with, let's say, Horry Georgetown Tech's program there in training?
Yes, we do, and the people at Horry Georgetown Tech have been very involved with the ACF here for quite a few years.
Oh yeah, Carmen Catino and the whole crew.
Absolutely, and Kathleen Gerber, now Eric Wagner, who's now full-time teacher there, was the president of the ACF, as well as Kathleen Gerber was the president of the ACF previously.
Is that right? Well, you just mentioned another woman's name in heading up the ACF. Is it pretty rare that women would head up local chapters, or have women really gotten much more active?
I found it interesting as I was putting together the chefs for the chef's auction, how many women have really stepped to the plate in the front of restaurants. 5 years ago, when I first started with that, I was the only woman in the room in any of these different events that I participated in, which actually was an advantage for me because you stick out,
Oh, yeah.
There's 10 guys and one you. Everyone knows your name automatically. But now I've noticed the Margaritaville has a female in the lead in the kitchen now. Vidalia's at the Radisson has a female in the lead at the kitchen now.
That's right.
So it's definitely, Greg Norman's had a female chef. So I think that it's just been more accepted on the Grand Strand. And nationally, there's been women at the forefront of culinary efforts for a long time.
When you use that word, I mean, a 9-to-1 ratio there, or a 10 folks in a room, and when you say standing out, does it cause any, and it is a good thing, but are there any concerns there because potentially you're being looked upon a little more closely?
Not for me. I don't mind at all. I don't mind that. And I've always been sort of one of the boys, so I fit right into the kitchen that way.
That's right. Speaking of one of the boys, of course, being down there in Florida, you met a boy, along with finding the real love for the culinary arts, obviously meeting a great guy named Jeff.
That's right. My husband, who is also a chef, and we met in our late 20s in Florida. So that was nice. We were sort of at the same point in our lives. We both decided to go back to school. We were footing the bill and the whole 9 yards ourselves. So that's a different experience.
Oh, yeah.
And we just met and sort of just hit it off immediately. And when it became a natural progression, what are we going to do when we graduate from school? And he said, well, I'm going to New York. I said, well, I want to go to Martha's Vineyard. He said, why don't you come to New York with me? I was like, well, we'll see.
Oh, wow.
And I did, and it's just been great ever since. He's the chef at the Officers Club in Little River.
Right.
People always ask, do you work together? When do you want to open a restaurant together? We're pretty happy with this arrangement, you know.
Not working together.
That's right, not working together. Although we'll do projects together. We cook Christmas dinner together. That's enough for us.
That's right. That's right. Well, what about other dinner? I mean, that's right. I mean, there's certain nights y'all probably work to have off together.
We try to have, I really try to maintain at least one day off together. That's important when you work in the evenings, especially, I think. People always ask, what do you cook at home? Lean cuisines?
Yeah, or who cooks?
Nobody cooks at home. We eat Mexican.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we do, and then we go, oh, my gosh, this was so wonderful. Why don't we do this more often?
Yeah.
But we're just a little tired of it. We want to sit back and relax and have somebody take care of us for a change.
Yeah. Yeah, what do y'all do for fun, Kel?
Oh, well, we're into music. We love to travel. We have family all over the United States and, nieces and nephews in 4 different states. So we make an effort to get to the different places and, just go to the beach in the summertime and work in the yard. And we're sort of an ordinary little couple there.
Wow. Well, of course, the big focus of the American Cancer Society, or excuse me, the 9th annual Super Supper that Tanger Factory Outlets is putting on, and of course, to benefit the American Cancer Society, I want to put in a little plug for the March of Dimes Chef's Auction, but there were 2 fascinating facts reading a little bit about you, Kim. There was one opportunity, I think you were a finalist in a Was it a laughing contest
I
that Pillsbury put on?
was.
What's that about?
I was. Well, you know, I've always been sort of known for my laugh, and it's just natural for me. I just think that things are silly sometimes.
Yeah.
It's easier to laugh than it is to cry.
Ooh,
It's a little better
wow.
for your soul, I think.
It probably is.
So when I was working at Thoroughbreds a couple of years ago, I went home on a Sunday night after a long weekend at work, and I was flipping through the paper, and I saw call this 1-800 number and laugh into the telephone for the Pillsbury Doughboy Laughing Contest. So I did it, and I made the semifinalists. Now the 20 finalists went to LA, which is what I was hoping for. I didn't quite make it that far.
Right.
All I got was a little stuffed doughboy in the mail that laughed when you touched his belly. But that was definitely an interesting experience to know that out of millions of people across America, that I just sat there and laughed into that telephone, and I made the first cut.
That is amazing.
It was very interesting.
Where's that doughboy now? Do you
I
carry him
gave
with
it
you?
to my first little niece
Oh, come on.
when she was born. I did.
Oh, wow, what a great gift. I wonder what
Yeah.
she's done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she probably carries it everywhere. That's very cool. I think the other thing I saw was that you and maybe you and Jeff together had worked to try to win an inn in Maine. What's that
Yeah,
about?
this was about 2 years ago, and it was in the local paper here. There was an inn in Maine, the Center Level Inn, that in the 80s, a couple had won through an essay contest. It was when the Donahue Show was one of the only talk shows on television, and that they sponsored the contest. And
Right.
literally, you wrote a 250-word essay, which is one page, double-spaced, and it was all about why you wanted to own and operate the Center Level Inn. They didn't get enough entries to actually go on with the contest. They were trying to basically get the sale price out of the entry. But we had such a great time, my husband and I, dreaming about what it would be like to have this inn in Maine with a little restaurant and what we would do with it and how our families would be involved. And, sometimes it's just the thought of something that can raise your spirits and spark new ideas in your mind. So that was really an interesting experience. Unfortunately, I went onto the website one day and they said we've canceled the contest.
Oh, no.
And I sat and cried and they sent us all our money back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had really gotten into that idea, even though you love the idea of you and Jeff working separately, you had really gotten into the mindset that potentially we could do it together.
Sure. Maybe someday
Yeah.
we could do something together.
Yeah.
He says I can be in charge if we do, but we'll see how that would
He
go.
says, Kim, my
Yes.
wife, can be in charge.
He says it.
That's great. He says it. That's right. He won't put it out in blood or in writing.
No.
That's great. Well, I'm sure y'all would work well together as a team. The 9th annual Super Supper, for folks who have not attended in the past, and they've been having it obviously out there on 501 for a long, long
They
time.
have.
This is the 9th annual. What's it all about? Have you attended in the past, or is this your first time?
I've actually always allowed my sous chef to be the one who's gone and, run with this event because I'm involved in other events, and I like to let everybody in the kitchen have their time. So this would be my first time to attend.
Wow.
But, I know all the logistics, know what's going on.
Right.
It's $5 for adults, $3 for children. We have a big tent set up at the outlet center. They team the restaurants with merchants, so you're set up at a table with merchants.
Right.
They have drawings every 30 minutes for gift certificates and different raffle prizes. There's going to be 16 restaurants participating. So you go around and just try little cups of soup from all the different restaurants. Then you get to vote on which one's your favorite. We've added another little competition this year. We're going to let Chef Catino from the Technical College, most unique soup.
Ooh, most
Yeah,
unique.
most unique soup. I know the people at Thoroughbreds last year did a smoked clam chowder. And I don't know, the people were so fond of it, but they were so proud to have stepped out there and done something new. And
Oh, yeah.
we want to give some support to those restaurants that tried new and exciting things. So it's just a great event, especially if it's a cool day, even if it's not. We have S&D coffee there, so
Right.
there's coffee and tea, and Benjamin's Bagels is there with breads and desserts, so you can try a soup and go have a little bite and walk around and look at the different, merchants. I'm going to be wearing diamonds from one of the stores in the outlet.
Ooh.
I was just told this week. I thought that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, you mean a chef's jacket
I
in
think
diamonds?
so, yes.
Oh, come on. Now, who would wear that in the
And,
kitchen?
that's not really me, but
Yeah.
hey, why not? I said, well, I think I will wear diamonds if they're asking.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're going to give them to me.
That's exactly right.
They've got a big diamond outlet out there.
They
I think.
do.
Yeah,
So it's just going to be
75% off all
yeah,
the
so
time.
we'll see how these diamonds are.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That should be amazing. $5
$5,
is the ticket price
that's
for
it. I mean,
adults, $3 for children.
Yeah, it's lunch for $5, and you're out there and you're supporting the Cancer Society.
Right.
And it's an opportunity to check out restaurants that maybe you've never been to.
Oh, yeah.
We have Phillips Restaurants going to be involved, so I'm sure I'll have some great crab bisque or something
Right.
from them.
Oh, yeah.
Sea Blue, which is a new tapas bar in the North Myrtle Beach area, is going to be participating in their first local event. Polly's Plantation, of course.
Right.
Thoroughbreds is going to be, participating. Angelo's Steakhouse participates.
Right.
Goldberg's Deli says he's going to win with his Manhattan Chowder. He's ready to go.
Yeah, he's
got
ready. That's
friendly competition going on. So I think it's going to be just a great atmosphere and such a nice opportunity to do something nice for, cancer people out there.
And it's this Sunday from noon to 4.
It is
obviously.
this Sunday.
The excitement there. And, of course, if a viewer wanted to learn more and they couldn't catch it all right now or needed to get out of the house, they could call is it 236-5100?
It is, and that would be the Tanger Outlet Center.
Right. Sherry Davenport and Stacey Bowers in there.
Absolutely.
843-236-5100. Of course, they could learn also about the big day the day before. The 1% of all the proceeds.
Go out there and there'll be sidewalk sales, and
Right.
you're pulling out all the stops to do a great event for breast cancer research.
Absolutely. What a huge commitment. Kim, there's so many things that go on, and of course, I wanted to have a chance to say the March of Dimes Chef's Auction's coming back up, what we focused on 11 months ago.
It is. That's going to be October 26th, which is a Tuesday at the Radisson. And this year we're doing that in conjunction with Medieval Times.
Oh, great.
Yeah, A Night to Remember is the theme. So it's just going to be a really great event with lords and ladies and, great restaurants and great foods and lots of great auction packages. It's a nice black tie event, but it's early in the evening, so you can get off work, go home, put on your pretty dress, come out, eat some great food, support a great charity, the March of Dimes, and then, be home in time to tuck the kids in for dinner.
Wow. Kim, think about that again. I asked that earlier. President of the American Culinary Federation's local chapter, obviously executive chef at Polly's Plantation, living in Little River, working down in Pawleys Island, but then heading up, overseeing this for the Super Supper, the big event, the 9th annual this Sunday, but then helping to orchestrate all the chefs for the March of Dimes Chef's Auction. How do you do it?
Well, what it all comes down to with the March of Dimes is recently I did a PSA with the ambassador child, Parker, and it brings everything into focus when you spend a few minutes with a little boy who was born at 1 pound. And the monies that are raised in events just like our Chef's Auction here are what helped him to survive when he may not have years ago. So, and the same thing with the cancer research. I lost a friend to cancer recently. I want to see everybody step up and do what we can. Cancer affects millions and millions of Americans every year, and we need to beat this and fight it. And the opportunity to do the work that I have through being a chef is not something I anticipated, but it's an integral part of the job for me now.
Kim, do you remember the first dish you prepared as a chef?
As a chef, I would say...
Coming out of culinary school.
Yeah, coming out of culinary school, one of the most interesting things I ever had to create on my own, I was going for a new job where I ended up meeting my 2 mentors, just unbelievable chefs who taught me all about food and the kitchen and quality and consistency. I went in for my trial run, and they said make a soup. Well, I was just a student, and I didn't really know how to make lots of soups.
Yeah.
But we had made gumbo at school that week.
Oh, yeah.
And my husband was in New York, or my boyfriend at the time was in New York, and he had called me because he wanted to make gumbo for his family, and I'd read him the recipe over the telephone. Well, lo and behold, I walk into their walk-in cooler, and there's okra. That's all you've got to have to make a good gumbo.
Really?
And that
okra?
was it. That was it. So I did it. I made, the best gumbo that I could make, and I got the job, and later went to cook at the James Beard House in Manhattan with those 2 gentlemen, and just I think that really stepped up, the learning process that I needed to become a great chef.
You said you went with those 2. Now, those 2 operate a restaurant down in Florida.
It was Craig's and American Bistro was the restaurant at the time. They've since closed, but they did. I was actually here working at Thoroughbreds at the time, and they called me and said, we have this great opportunity to go cook in Manhattan at the James Beard House, which is a nonprofit organization for different culinary-based charities.
Okay, yeah.
And we want you to go because you're part of our team.
Wow.
So I did, and it was great.
That's amazing, Kim. We got about 7 minutes. Think about those aspects, of course, now at Polly's Plantation. Are there dishes that have Kim Lloyd's name on them, or are there a lot of dishes that were there before you arrived that folks that have been going to Polly's Plantation forever know and love, and Kim's just spiced them up a little bit?
Well, some of those, and they told me when I started, you can't change the she crab soup, the crab cake mix, which they're unbelievable.
Oh, they're
I would never want to change them.
Yeah.
So, things like that, great classics, and it's not the crab cake recipe that I created or that I had made in other places, but it is unbelievable.
Really?
So, I stuck with those couple of things, and then I've actually changed all the menus except the banquet menus now. So there's a lot of sort of signature Kim Lloyd dishes, definitely. We do a honey cumin marinated roasted salmon with a mango passion fruit vinaigrette.
Wow.
Yeah, on the dinner menu. We're open for dinner Thursday and Friday evenings to the public, which lots of people don't realize. Just go up to the guard gate and say, I'm going to dinner, and they'll let you on in.
Great.
So that's
Say that
great.
again, Kim. You mean Paulie's Plantation
Paulie's
is open to
Plantation
the
is
public?
open to the public,
I
yes.
didn't know that.
So we
Great.
have dinner Thursday and Friday evenings, and then we have an unbelievable Sunday brunch, and that's just been a real joy to create. I have a wonderful sous chef there. His name's Bill Sawyer. I've really enjoyed, working with someone different and seeing how our different styles can blend together and we can come up with great dishes.
Right.
And then the opportunity to work with we have a conference center, and on the banquet side of it, I get to sit down with maybe a bride and her mother. What are you interested in for your wedding dinner? And
Right.
put that together, and just different we have membership, so for different member events, that was definitely an interesting experience starting to create those menus.
So obviously that aspect is executive chef. You're over the banquet. I mean, all the banquet events as well as the restaurant right there.
Absolutely. And then we have a pub that's open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week, mostly to cater to our golfers. We have a beautiful golf course. We have a grill room that's open for lunch 5 days a week. So we have something going on all the time at Paulie's Plantation.
That is amazing, Kim. Well, of course, I think in reading a little about you, it was exciting to see when you arrived in town. I think you said about yourself, I was flipping burgers at All-Star Cafe.
I was.
Obviously,
that's where it
very
all started.
soon thereafter, ending up at Thoroughbreds for almost 5 years, at 4 years as executive chef. Pretty exciting, obviously, for Paulie's Plantation to steal you away and have the opportunity to get you a little further south. So you've really been covering the north end of Myrtle, the center of Myrtle, and now the very southern end of the Grand Strand.
I have.
And living up in Little River.
I do. I mean, I really drive from one end of the Grand Strand to the other every day.
Yeah.
Such, commuting's a nice experience, I think, once you get into it. It's relaxing.
Cathartic, yeah.
It
Very
is.
cleansing.
I mean, by the time you get home, you've settled your day. On the way to work, you can plan what you need to do. And it's, I've enjoyed it more than I thought that I would, the commuting part. And Paulie's Plantation is so beautiful when I take the turn into those gates, and the beautiful live oaks and the alligators crawling out of the ponds. It's just unbelievable. We have our own herb garden there. On an afternoon of a long day, we'll hop on a golf cart and go out to the herb garden and, cut our own herbs to use for dinner that evening or to garnish our dessert. So it's a nice atmosphere and nice environment.
We just got a couple of minutes, Kim, and that makes me think, Paulie's Plantation, their support level for you getting out and doing all these things, have they been supportive?
They've been very supportive, and I so appreciate it. They've really, stepped up to the plate. They knew this was something that was important for me to continue to do. Of course, within, whatever boundaries they were willing to set, but they've allowed me to participate in everything that I've been involved with in the past.
Just highlight again real quick for viewers who may not have caught you 10 minutes ago, highlighting some of the aspects of this Sunday's Super Supper, the 9th annual. We just got a couple of minutes. Just
this
give
Sunday's
the viewers
Super Supper at the Tanger Outlet Center on 501, benefiting the Cancer Society, from 12 to 4 o'clock. $5 for adults, $3 for children, all the soup you can eat. Benjamin's Bagels with lots of great bread and desserts, S&D Coffee with coffee and tea. It's going to be an unbelievable event. There's going to be 16 different restaurants represented. Come out, try all their soups, try all the great things that these chefs have to offer as they step up to the plate here for the Cancer Society. I think it's going to be unbelievable.
One thing you didn't mention, which is incredibly exciting, is that aspect that admission will include not only taste of all the dishes, but also a recipe book.
That's exactly right. We have a recipe book, and the Tanger Outlet Center is doing that for us. It's going to be just beautiful, and so you can see, try things that you like and go home, and you'll have the best. I'm sure the best she crab recipe on the beach, the best clam chowder recipe on the beach, and then some really exotic, fun recipes that they're out there.
Knowing that gumbo really helps you get your first job, do you ever create gumbo anymore, Kim?
I feel like gumbo is a dish that's created with passion. You have to really love gumbo to make it right. And I had the opportunity to meet Paul Perdone, who is the
Gumbo King.
He's the Gumbo King. He's the New Orleans chef, and told him how much he and his philosophies on cooking, layering flavors, and just loving the food have affected what I do in the kitchen.
Kim, if you weren't currently the executive chef at Paulie's Plantation, what do you think you'd be doing?
I don't know. And I don't know that I'll do this forever. There's so many different things out there that you can do. sure I would be involved with the public in some way, and I'd still just be laughing a lot.
That's right. That's right.
What
you
I'm
may
sure
win the
of.
Pillsbury
That's
Doughboys
right.
next time. Thanks so much for being with us this
thank
morning.
you for having me, Greg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Executive Chef Kim Lloyd coming up next. The event's the 9th annual Super Supper to benefit the American Cancer Society. The date is this Sunday from noon to 4. The admission's only $5, $3 for kids 12 and under. Get out there. The phone number, real simple, 236-5100. That's 843-236-5100. If you're coming down from the PD or southeastern North Carolina, you just cruise 501, and before you get to Myrtle Beach, it's on the left. A lot of chefs will be out there. The focus is vital. Working hard to prevent breast cancer and to help lives. Get out there.